Hi, I'm Johanna Love, Director of Photography here at Stampington & Company. I'm sitting in for Vanessa Spencer, our shop manager, who usually does these videos. Today we're going to be making a charmed ribbon necklace. I made these with the Patera findings that you can find in our shop online. All I did was glued some ribbons to the back of them to make them look like little flowers, and then wire wrapped them to a strand of ribbon and finished it off with a homemade clasp. Let me introduce to you the products that I use so you know what to prepare if you want to do this project. We all have giant amounts of scraps of ribbons in jars sitting around that we don't use, or you can use new ribbon too, but we're going to be using ribbon. Then the DG3 art gel. It's very versatile. You can use it for a lot of different things, including what we're doing today. Scissors, wire cutters, copper wire, which is a personal favorite wire of mine. Patera Findings by Nunn Designs, and the Art Chick Studio collage sheets. They have these beautiful little pictures that we're going to cut out and glue into our little charms that'll hang off the ribbon. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is take a piece of my wire about 5 inches long. I'm going to loop it through one of the loops and fold it in half so it stays there. We need to put that through first because our next step is going to be taking pieces of the ribbon, of a ribbon that I would like to use for the rosette behind the charm, and I'm going to double them up, making a little flower shape. So you glue them together and press tightly. Be liberal with the glue because it's okay if it spills over. You want lots of glue to spill all over the place because it's going to really help the ribbon stay attached to the back of the pendant, because fabric does not glue very easily to metal. So we're going to press that down very tightly. The next step is we're going to put a dab of glue in the center of the pendant because we are going to take a little piece of the Art Chicks collage sheet that I've cut out, a little snippet of a picture that I like, and press it down onto the glue dot that I made, then fill it in with this glue, the art gel. Fill it in completely, but be pressing that little collaged piece of paper down the whole time because otherwise it's going to go swimming in that little puddle of art gel and it's going to slide out the edge. So we're going to completely fill that. The next step is we're just going to go ahead and coat all the edges around the outside of the pendant with the art gel as well. We want to really cover the edges of the pendant with the gel so that it touches the ribbon, so when it dries, that ribbon is triple stuck to this pendant. It'll make it a lot easier once it dries. This you need to set aside for 24 hours to let it dry, because if you don't, you're going to touch it, you're going to get a fingerprint in it, you're not going to be happy, you're going to have to do it all over. So once you make this, gently slide it, put it aside somewhere safe, go ahead and make 4 more of the same pendant with one piece of wire coming up. Then we're going to need to make, one is going to be for the clasp, so we're going to need to make one with 2 wires coming off of each end. So put both wires here before doing all of the gluing. You could also choose to put a wire through all of your charms in the event that you would want to go ahead and maybe add a pearl or some sort of bead dangling off your charm, but I didn't do that for this project. So now we have to wait overnight and let it dry. After your charms have dried, or while they're drying, we need to go ahead and make this ring, which is going to be one end of our homemade clasp. As you can see here, this is already a finished end of the necklace we're making today. The jump ring that I'm calling it a jump ring, but it's really just a big ring, handmade ring. It's folded over on one side, and I'm going to do it large here so you can see because that's very small. So I just fold over one end of the wire, Then all I'm going to do is loop it around my finger to get it to be a big ring, but not too big. Then I'm going to take the other end of the wire and fold it through my original hook, bend it over, and trim off any extra and tuck in the ends so that they're not sharp against your skin. So again, this is the big version of this little loop that is about the size of one of my fingers. So here's the necklace, another version of the finished necklace that I've made. And I based the length of this necklace off of a length of another necklace that I made that I really like the length. The finished length in this case is 16 inches, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what length it is. I just know I really like this length. So I'm going to go ahead and take my fun bottomless jar of scrap ribbon, and I'm going to make sure I'm using, it's at least 16 inches long, but I'm going to need to go ahead and add at least an inch or so. It's okay to be generous because you can always trim off the excess later. So I'm going to give it a little bit over an inch, inch and a half, and then now I have a length of ribbon that I know is going to be long enough for when I create my ribbon necklace, because I'm going to be going and folding the ends back over and losing some length. But then the clasp is going to add back maybe an inch or so, so it will end up being about the 16 inches that I wanted. Now that I have this ribbon cut to the length that I want, I can go ahead, find some other ribbons, cut them to be the same length. So I'm just going to take this one ribbon and pretend that it's lots like this one, and take the jump ring that I made, this little jump ring, and I'm going to feed the ribbon through the ring and fold it over maybe almost an inch, because remember I did add extra ribbon length for this purpose. Then you're going to take your wire cutters and you're going to cut off maybe 4 or 5 inches of wire. To wrap around the ribbon, you want to first bend the end of the wire so that it's easier to hold on to while you're wrapping. So I'm going to lay that wire over the part of the ribbon that I folded, grab it with my thumb and my forefinger, and then I'm just going to wind it around where the ribbon folds, over itself. And I'm just going to wind that until I've used up all my wire. You can, of course, just wrap a few times and trim, but if you do that, I find that the ribbon tends to slide out of the wrapping. So the more you wrap it, the sturdier it's going to be. And then you can fold the end in and have it poke back into the ribbon, so that also helps secure the ribbon so that it won't slide out from that little wrapping that you've just done.